r/ask men. Only Carpenter 6689 says. Serious, what was your experience with a woman creep? Azeth 89 says. They get real, frick, in handsy, won't take a no, and if you make them back off physically once verbal refusal fails, there's a good chance you are now the bad guy to everyone with line of sight. So, tons of fun. F1 Del 1 Us says. I dealt with this exact issue at work in a kitchen. I had to physically grab her hand once and make it very clear I wasn't okay with that, and she just laughed as though it was a joke, and she continued on with the verbal, but thankfully learned her lesson about getting physical. I feel kinda bad for her because she very clearly just wanted some D. Chamomilla Brown says. My cousin was this. My ditzy early 20s ass didn't see a problem and couldn't understand the men who rejected her. She's throwing herself at you, is that not what boys want? In hindsight, I can see everything that was wrong with that and other behaviors she had at the time. I'm hoping she's not like that anymore. Drewy99 says. When I was 18 I worked in fast food. I had a 20-year-old dish manager that had a big crush on me. She wasn't my type, but we were friendly and I got along, so I didn't think much of it. We had a group of similar-aged people working at the time, so all partied together, so it was more of a group dynamic that kept everything peaceful. One day I didn't have a ride home, so my manager offered to give me a drive. We were getting off at 11 PM, so that's better than busing in my mind. We chatted as she drove me to my doorstep. I said thank you and got out. I was putting my key in my apartment when the thought hit me. I didn't tell her where I lived and she drove me to my door. Definitely made sure to clarify my boundaries after that, and I still think about it sometimes. Actual Ichisa Cakes says. I couldn't even imagine how wide your eyes got when you realized that. Drewy99 says. I actually called her out in a private setting a few weeks later. She said she knew my address because she saw it in my employee file. Later one of her friends told me she had creeped where I lived previously by getting that info out of my file. So there's that. Drink the Bleach says. This was in high school, so benefit of the doubt, kids are dumb, etc. I had a girl who had a crush on me, but would never actually talk to me. I didn't know she existed. She kept stealing my stuff and slipping stuff into my locker. I didn't find out until a teacher told me she got in trouble for trying to steal some of my assignments from her desk, and she thought I should know in case it escalated. She lost interest eventually, but, frick, in weird, man. Count says. She didn't steal your heart then. Festival Pappy says. Probably because her pocket knife got confiscated and she didn't know where he lived. SHBD12 says. Stopped to get water hydration stuff at a gas station while cycling in full liquor kit. A woman walked past and slapped my ass. When I gave her a dirty look and asked WTF, she answered, what do you expect dressed like that? Frick you, weirdo. GSP 2973 says. Yeah, I had a similar experience. Women acting exactly like toxic dudes and they actually get away with it. Sorry that happened to you, bro. Skimonkey 98 says. If it makes you feel any better, /s, the toxic dudes mostly get away with it too lol. Leal says. I'm a dentist and a few times I've had ladies really laid on. I've been sent multiple friend requests on Facebook and then be pissed when I told her that our relationship is a professional one. I've had one write her phone number and give to my dental assistant to give to me. I've had several show up wearing very little / inappropriate clothing, which also progressed over time to wearing more provocative things. Finally, I had one young woman that the entire time I was working was staring deeply into my eyes. It honestly felt like she was looking deep into my soul. It was uncomfortable and strange. After a while I realized she was actually just watching the reflection of what I was doing in my glasses. Lol. r/ask men. At 1144 says, what's something that happened to you that affected your faith in humanity? Here's my story. Over 10 years ago, a lady I hardly knew who volunteered at my work suddenly asked me if she could borrow $400 to help pay her rent. I was making less than $1,800 a month, but she had some kind of illness and I couldn't let her get kicked out of her place. So after thinking about it I said yes. Then she said she actually needed $800. My stomach clenched when she said that, but I couldn't say no. Over the next 2 years she paid me like $125 back and told me she was so embarrassed she wasn't able to pay me back quickly. Then she just disappeared. A little after that, a friend asked to buy $600 worth of photography lighting from my boyfriend who I lived with. I wanted to help him, since he told me a sob story about him being a foster kid and needed the lights for a new job. He didn't have $600 so my BF said he could pay in installments. Well, he disappeared with the lights and never answered my texts or calls again. I was furious, especially since I asked my boyfriend if he was willing to sell the lights to that guy. I felt like a chump. Everyone was taking advantage of me. I could feel myself becoming more cynical. Well, a couple of years ago I get an email from a stranger that they wanted to send me something. They got my email from my previous work. I gave her my address and received the letter. I opened it and there was a check from the lady who borrowed $800. It was a check for $5,000. I stood there in shock staring at it. I asked the lady who was the intermediary if it was a mistake and asked why she would give me so much money. The intermediary said, I guess it's because you were there for her when she needed it. It's met son, it says. Helped a girl who I had been friends with online from Ukraine escape when the war broke out. Paid for her travel, paid for clothes and food, etc. Helped her friend get out of Ukraine and get settled with a local family. When she saw that her friend had moved in with a rich family, 8-bedroom, live-in nanny rich, she was abusive towards my family and myself and went to live with the rich family instead. Also tried to steal some of my possessions. I always try to do the right thing, but that really killed my desire to help anyone. Ever since I've struggled to justify helping others, which, frick-ing sucks because it feels heartless. Dare_A says. X'd out. Homeless European says. People always only disappeared after they got what they wanted and never gave it back, which affected my faith in humanity, just the other way around. Humans are primarily parasitic. GMGM4334 says. Working in public education for many years can be very disheartening. B. Sclaff says. The shit I used to see on Watch PR permanently damaged from that. I Laidlaw says. Waking up every day and seeing the absolute shit show of a world we live in. We are so divided by every little thing, whether it be race, religion, pronouns, politics, opinions. We have lost what it means to be accepting of others despite our differences, and there is very little compassion and empathy left in anyone, and God forbid anyone is held accountable for their actions many more. We live in a throwaway disposable society where there is little to no value in anything, whether it be relationships or material possessions. Sad state of the world that we live in. Success Prestigious 74 says. Nothing really. I don't have faith in humanity, Mo. Being raised in a situation where your mother, that is supposed to love you and such, but instead threatens you and yells at you and many other things. The world is shit and most people are shit. I will still be nice and help people out though. I have a hernia in my groin, so I'm not really allowed to do loft things and such. But if an old lady asks me for help with her cat litter, I will sure do it. I try to do a lot of small things that might cause someone to do something nice for others, but I still have the same stance on humanity as I did at the age of 5. Everyone sucks. Jamesaron says, play an survival multiplayer game. It'll show you how humanity really would be if there wasn't any consequences for actions. Absolute chaos. This underscore is underscore not underscore forever says, I saw countless people line up to take shots. Katasoon says, the $600 a week COVID checks that went to people who didn't work, which was mostly more than what they made working. Meanwhile, me as a doctor was forced to work more, and I didn't get anything extra. It's bullshit. I had to risk my life for no benefit, while other people got to chill and make even more money. Basically, I now accept society hates healthcare workers. I'm working to eventually have a pile of money, to have a bunch of real estate investments to live on. Medical field is undervalued. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.